Hello guys, welcome back. All right, what's happening? Market, as far as I'm concerned, I think it's holding pretty well. Why did I say that? Some of the indexes are actually lagging. Some of them are doing pretty good. Well, since COVID, since the crash of COVID, SMH was doing good, but not anymore. You can see that just from the way they're not really catching up to the moving average. Look how SMH is still below the 50 moving average comparing to the Dow Jones, which is still like way trying to actually it's breaking. It did break twice above the 200 moving average, and you can see it just from this downtrend. So if I break this a little bit lower here, make it a little bit easier to read, you can see taking this line out, you can see that this downtrend we keep hitting it a couple times, and that correlate exactly with the 200 moving average, which is that brown line. We keep hitting it, so that was acting as a resistance. Well, last week we came back, we pulled back just a little bit comparing to here. Like we went back here and then we pulled back straight. There's no, so far it's still holding, but we went up, pulled back just a little bit, and now we're pushing back up higher. So what we want to see is the price to actually break and staying above this area here, and then starting to either consolidate or going up higher and challenge these levels over here. So that's what you want to see. Some of them, like I said, some of the indexes are lagging, some of them are doing pretty good. That means we're gonna have new leaders. So just forget, like, and I've seen this before, a lot of people, they still actually hold, like some people are still holding. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if they're still holding some old leaders that they were actually doing pretty good back in COVID time, like Zoom, for example. Look how Zoom crashed, Datadog, for example. These were really leaders back then, but not anymore. Now they dropped, like, most of them when I was screening, they were down like 70%, and some of them are more than that. So you can see QQQ is still lagging too. So you got SMH and you got a QQQ. QQQ is still below the 50. IWM holding that 50, and it's using it as a resistance. XLF, it's actually trying to break above the 200 moving average, even though it's not showing it, but it's doing good. And from another tip I want to tell you is, like, and I've heard this from some pro people, they told me that if the financials are actually holding pretty well, that means it's the whole market it's in okay shape, like a positive. You look at it as a positive. If the financials are not holding, then nothing else is gonna hold. So that's a tip. I just want to throw it out there. Dow Jones is actually holding pretty well. Composite still below that 250 moving average, even below the 20 moving average. And that tells you what's strong and what's weak. And you can do a screen, and you can screen for stock just by going to the Dow Jones, for example. Even though it has only 30 stocks, you can just see what's leading, and then you go from there. S&P. As far as I'm concerned, I usually look at these, actually my screens, and I usually look at stocks by revenue and sometimes EPS. But if you watch my last video, what I actually discussed it, and I gave actually a simple screen. I told you to go to the finviz.com. You don't have to pay for it, and you just plug in these filters, these filters that I'm showing you right now. You just make it as simple as possible. You just basically, and I'm always like focusing on sales or EPS. You want sales or revenue to be above 30% at least. So, because the leaders, they're gonna be on 3-digit. They're not even gonna be on 30%. Good leaders, they're gonna be in 300%, 400%, 500%, and you're gonna be quarter over quarter. Those are the one you want to catch. And with this screen, you can literally get it. You can find them, and you can flip flop between these two. So growth, for example, let's say if this is 30%, you can actually put this as a positive, and then flip this back to over 30%, and then you can and then you go from there. You can actually put both of them positive 30%. And you can see that the screen will give you really good results. So yeah, that's there's nothing fancy about it. The only thing I will ask you, just screen for stocks on a daily basis. That's the key behind it. If you don't screen, if sometimes, one of them can can sneak in and leak in, and then probably you won't find it. But you have to keep looking. This is like especially at this time. So I'm positive on the market. And the reason why I said that it's because the Dow Jones is still holding pretty well. S&P, it's okay. But XLF, it's doing pretty good, even though it's still below the 200 moving average. But I'm watching it. So and this is how I always think. For example, we have XLF. For example, that I said the Dow Jones are doing pretty good. So I would give it like this low right here. So if things starting to, so this is when I always like, this is the way you're supposed to look at every single stock here before you even enter it. You go like, okay, let's say I'm gonna enter right in here, or I'm gonna enter right as soon as it to close or above this 200 moving average, I'm gonna buy it. But okay, what's my exit point? You always want to ask that. So for example, when I analyze a chart like that and I say, oh, the Dow Jones looks pretty good. Okay, so when is it? It's not gonna look good. When things gonna shift south, and then you start collecting, you start cutting your bleeding, cutting your losses. Well, for me, as far as I'm concerned, I'm looking at the last low, and I'm gonna give it to you like simple and straight. This is one of the, it's not a secret, but I just found it through time over and over and over again. What is it? So a trend going up higher. What is the definition of a trend? Trend is you're having higher lows. So you got a low, and then you got a low, and then trend keeps going up, and you have higher lows. So that's the definition of a trend going up. So you have higher lows and you have higher highs. Well, let me break it down to you. If you do this strategy, if you do this simple tricks that I'm going to show you right now, let's say you bought a stock right at the breakout, right? You bought a stock right at the breakout here, and then you put your stop loss. So many scenarios, and I've included this before. If a stock goes down, you claim your loss, you get out. Okay, if stock goes up, you split your position into 3 or 2, whatever you like it. It goes between 10 and 20%. You claim it goes 10% or 20 or 13, whatever. You take the first half, you're good. It comes back to the price to where you bought it. You break even on the other half. If it doesn't, that's the third scenario. If it doesn't, if it keeps going up, let's say it went up 20%, which is average of the most stocks. They move 20% and 30%, and they deconsolidate. All right. Let's say on the last scenario, so you took your first half and it goes sideways. Well, wait for it to break out and make a new high again, and then you move your stop loss, your initial stop loss, back to that higher low. And believe me when I say that, and most of the time that higher low will go along with the 50 moving average. And that's not something that's new, but this is so simple, and this is how you should, as far as I'm concerned, from my experience, you should keep it as simple as that. And as soon as a stock, and if you can follow it because you already got your first profit. You can follow it, or sometimes when a breakout, you can still add when it break out. You don't want to add on. I mean, you can add on a pullback, but for me, sometimes I wait until you got a new base, and then I'll add on a breakout, and then you just keep following it over and over. And trust me, most of the time, this is like 80 to 20% rule. Most of the time, when you have that last low gets violated, and then you claim you close your position, most of the time that's your bread and butter. You actually did follow the trend from the beginning to the end. There is no, sometimes they will set up and then they will consolidate, but most of the time they're just going to consolidate here sideways, and then they'll make a new base. But that's it. You don't want to have your money held up here for like 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, sometimes a year, because it takes time for the stock to build a new base. So that's a tip right there for you, how to follow a trend. So you buy it, breakout, just as far as that's what I do. And sometimes I'll buy first pullback when the stock just started this breakout. I'm going to show you actually a trade that I'm about to take on the first pullback. So that's how you follow a trend. And believe me, if you do this simple like averages that I showed you before, when to take profit, I'm going to show you actually some examples that I'm still holding, and some of them I exited, and how I manage a trade. Because you can find a trade, you can find the leader, but how to manage a trade, that's the thing that I struggle with the most, and I lost a lot of money with it. So we just discussed the indexes and how they look. I said I'm positive on overall the market because it's still holding, and another reason why I'm still positive on the market because some of the stock are still holding though, like they're still positive. Because if everything is gonna go down, if we're gonna have another like pullback leg down here, I will see the first time I'll start to see that the price action down here. You will see, like we wouldn't have these first 2 days, but I mean we can still have first day. I'm still breakdown, but I'm saying you'll see the price action just going sideways down here, and then you will see the violation and the close below that 21 moving average. You can put a 20 or 21, and then we'll start having a lower high. So this lower high, lower high, lower high, and then you have another. Now you're trending down here. So I'm still positive on the market, and some of my stocks that I bought recently, I bought them right at the breakout. They're still holding, so if everything's gonna fail, you'll see that on overall market. So, but that's not the case. Some stocks are down, some stocks are still going up. We're gonna have some new leadership, so that's what's keeping me again positive on the whole market. So, I have a position on this one. So the reason why I'm always showing you this, it's because I want to show you what I'm doing, what I bought, and how I'm managing it. Okay, I bought this stock. I'm still holding it. I haven't taken profit yet, so I'm just watching it right now. ADM. What else do I have? I have VLO. These are all recent buy. I bought it right actually on that day. I usually don't leave it. Like let's say if I missed the breakout here and it goes up like over like 5%, 10%, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm just gonna wait for another base or probably a pullback. I'm not gonna wait. I'm not because it's like it's too late. That's VLO. These are recent buy. Another one is called AGYS. And if you follow me on Twitter, I'm most of the time I put these like right when they break out. So I'm laying everything out there for you guys. I mean this is not a buy or to sell. You guys know that, but you just have to do your homework. But most of the time I'm sharing whatever I do. I think it's a good chart. I'll just lay it out there, and I think put this artist as well in there. Either sometimes I'll put the chart, sometimes I'll just put the ticker. I bought this right when actually broke out. I think right in this day actually, or I don't remember exactly, but I bought it right recently. Like I've been holding it for a week, and it looks pretty good. Most of the time they will be pretty good. I will analyze the chart. I'll put it on the weekly. That's the first thing I will do, and I don't want to buy it in the middle here. I want to buy it right when it breaks out right out of base. So this will be a good entry. And you can see it here. We have almost double bottom, and then we have a higher low. So this is a low right here, and then we have this low. So somebody's been buying it right in here, and then we have a volume that's picking up right in here. So that's a good way how to pick how to know what's happening within the chart, because you're not looking only candlesticks and pattern. You want to, for me, I go even deeper on this candlestick sometimes, and this is like another like thing that this is gonna take a while. Plus I look at the revenue, and this is what I mentioned earlier. I look at the revenue growth rate on the last 4 quarters. And then sometimes, I'll look at the APS, but most of the time it's like sales and revenue. That's what I really emphasize on. So that's RS. A recent buy that I had is called ASAI, and I did put this on Twitter actually. If I pulled out my Twitter just to show you guys, I'm just telling you exactly what I do. I don't just like, all right, what is it? Right in here, you see it. This is Twitter. This is my page. That's my name, and I post this like see on November 1st, and you can see it right there. You had a breakout, and then right there you can see the VCP pattern, or whatever you want to call it. You can see a volatile contraction pattern, and look at that volume right on the breakout, and putting it back on the daily. I love it. I just love it. So as far as this, I haven't taken anything yet. I bought it on that second day in here, and I'm watching this moving average, how it's gonna act. Okay, nothing so far. I just let it work. Okay. What else? A new one that I actually just bought today, NVT. I like this one. I just bought like a couple shares with it. Let's see. I just want to show you the chart. I want to show you the chart. Okay, what do we have? We have put it on the weekly. You have too much noise in here. Look at the weekly. I got used to it. I can see what's happening, but put the chart on the weekly. You have a base here. This is when right after COVID. We had a follow through day. I think it was April 6th, right in this area, right in here. The stock just based and then broke out. You can see another base here. So you buy it either here or you buy it here, and you just follow it. Stock went up what? How much? That's 29%. Pulled back just a little bit here. Went up again, barely anything, and moved, and then went up just the last push for another 14%. And since then, actually, from here all the way to here now, and that took like 11.7 months of consolidation. And then you can see down here the volume starting to picking up again. So that's a good sign. So that's how I looked at the chart right before I purchased the stock. Plus, on the revenue growth, it wasn't that great, 15%. But this is actually when the stock is when the Dow Jones is bottoming and all the indexes are starting to roll back up. Well, this one is making not barely all-time high. So this one's gonna be a pretty good stock in the future. So yeah. So I saw this gap in here, and I bought it actually just on that day. So yeah, so that's a new one. Another one that I have, and I bought this before, I mentioned this before last time, GBL. I bought it actually right in this day. So how am I managing this position? So far it looked good in here. This day is good. Now we're starting to break below the 8 moving average. We went down below it, and then we went right back up. Now we went right below it. So here it's confirming to me that this stock is acting weak and it's not holding. On the weekly, it looks actually pretty good. All right, on the weekly it looks pretty good, but you want the stock, you bought it here, you want the stock to go either sideways or go up. I don't want the stock to go down. Okay, especially this is why I actually told you guys in that sell course video, put that exponential 8 moving average and watch it. So it did actually, usually if your stock is really going up, you will see it like it will keep trending. It wouldn't even close below the 8 moving average. But this one actually did close first day, second day, and then it went up again. So here I was a little bit more positive, but today it closed back on it. And my initial stop loss was actually a little bit on the green side, on the 21 moving average, but right in this area right in here. All right, or sometimes I will give it some slack. I will keep it. You can put actually stop loss here, either here on that day when I bought it, or here, or even here. So you want to calculate the 5 to 8%, and you see what's going on, and you do the math. So since this one actually did close again below, so what I'm doing right now, I'm putting my stop loss right in here, either below that, or I'm putting it right below the low of that, a couple cents a little bit below, like 15-20 cents right below it. If it comes back, close it below 5% loss, and I'm out looking for the next trade. Even though the stock really looked great, but hey, anything can happen. And then I didn't like the fact that this today was another pick of that red volume, so I didn't like that. So I'm thinking probably because sometimes what happened, like you put usually that's what I do. I put a stop loss right in here, and then the stock they'll try to flash as many people as they can and get as many stop losses as they can, and they roll right back up. But I don't think the case here. Probably I'm gonna get hit and get out. But that's how I manage this trade. New ones that I found today. Just want to share with you what I just screened today, and this is actually what I found. Some good stocks. So let me see what I have. I like this one, AGYS. I like it. I like the look at the APS were not bad actually. Three digits. So 500%. This one is okay, 66, but this was 100%, 130, 129, and then it was a decent revenue last quarter. It was 25%. So you want to see minimum of 25 and up, and then average last 4 quarters it was 21%. Not something that you can brag about, but it's okay. Put in the chart on the weekly, like I always say. Look at that. Stock went up based here. I always like to tell myself, like, tell me a story. So tell me a story, what happened in the stock, so I can see what's happening. Even though the moving average can tell you what's happening, if it's an uptrend or a downtrend, but I like to see where the stock comes from and where it's heading. Stock trended here. Whoever's made money from here to here. So that's the area, and the stock just decided to pull back for almost like what? For almost like 1.2 years. And then finally, this, we're looking at the weekly, don't forget. Finally, we broke at the 50 moving average on the weekly, which is the 200 moving average on the daily. We consolidated, all right, and then we broke up high with this candle. Now look at the volume on that candle right in here. I like that. And then we pulled back for like 3 weeks, and then we pulled back higher again. So look at the pullback on the volume here. That's low. And then look at the breakout again. Look at the volume on this one. All right, so that makes me bullish on the stock. Putting the stock back on the daily, we have a gap. A hedge fund, big institutions bought it, and then I like it right in here. Especially sometimes when I look at the moving average, the 8 moving average, and when they make it like a slight higher, that's what I get sometimes interested, like here or here. And then my stop loss again, always for me, I'll look at, depends sometimes, I'll look at the last low, or I'll look at the 21 moving average. You don't want to stock. If you buy it, especially when it just break out, you don't want it to break below the 21. If it starts to break right at the breakout of a long base, and if it's starting to close below the 21, something's wrong with the stock. I'll just get out and look for another one, because if it's gonna work, it's gonna work. Another one that I found, Merck, and this is the one I told you I'm gonna show you that probably I'll get into buy the stock, like if it's because it's right on the first pullback. So put in the stock on the weekly, look at the chart, zoom out and look at it. We have a base here, we moved back up by 30%, and then we pulled back for almost like what, almost 2.5 years, and then we broke out. We came here, look how we tested this high here, and then we tested it here, we tested it here, and then this is like a bullish pattern. This right here, this is a bullish pattern, and then we pulled back. So we could, the stock was not deciding, was not where to go, and then finally we broke out, and now we're in good shape. Putting back the stock on the daily. Look how it barely like closed, barely pulled below the 21, but look how the stock is still holding since down here. We had a gap here, and then it stock didn't even close below the, barely closed below the, what is this, 98.80, 98.70, barely 5 cents closed below the 8 moving average, and that's what you want to see. All right, so I like Merck, I like KCASY, I like it here. Put again, there's too much noise here. Put the stock back on the weekly. Look what's happening. The stock had a trend up here, and then we consolidated. Look how we consolidated here, so you can be familiar. This is why you wanna look at previous winners. Look how we had all this base from here. Remember, we go up, we consolidate. We go up, we consolidate. That's the pattern. That's the pattern. So we went up here all this time, and then we consolidated. But look how the high here. So this is the high, right? All right. So we came here. We came back right on that area and started, the price here, it just started to consolidate, started getting tight. That's what tight is, not going up down like that. So whoever's buying it, he's buying it, is not letting the price drop, so he want to accumulate more. So that's the key. And as soon as it break out, you buy it, and you confirm that along with the volume down here. All right, so that's the first thing. All right, now we keep going up higher. The stock, I don't know what happened here. This is like back in, I don't know. This is not, I think this is COVID maybe. I think COVID had 2020, yeah. And then stock reversed right back up, starting to, so it's using, look at that. It came back right to the previous resistance. Moving forward, we consolidated for a while. And then this is the recent drop that we had in the market, because the stock already broke out here. And the recent correction that we have, 25% on all the major indexes. This is what happened to the stock. It still held pretty good, stayed above the 200 moving average, because this is the weekly, looking at the weekly, and then reversed right back up. Now it's acting bullish. All right, so I like that. What else? I like, this is a new stock, MGY. This is an oil and gas industry. I mean, most of them, as you know, like they're doing really great. So this is the second one that I like, beside VLO. So MGY, I like it. Why do I like it? put in the stock back in the weekly, and look what's happening. We had an uptrend here, and the stock has to consolidate. Somehow has to consolidate. We had a double bottom. It looks good. We had resistance right in this area here, and you will see it as soon as they pull back to the daily. Look how we went up here, pulled back, went up here, consolidated a little bit. Now we broke out, but we used it as as a support. Now you can even get in here, and now the stock is confirming. And look at the volume starting to pick up. All right, now what you want to watch is we had a previous resistance here, right in here. So if you buy it in these 2 days, you want to, so the stocks might still have like over 7%. You can take some profit and see what the stock, if it's gonna violate that 21 or is gonna stay above it. All right. So these are what I have for you. I hope you find some value in this video. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe if this is your first time. If you want me to conclude any stock, if you want me to tell you my perspective on it, I'll be happy to do so. Just drop it in the comment below. And this is it. I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Take care.